Hello everybody and welcome to another video of me talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 and my experience with the console about 6 months or so in. I know the Switch 2 has been out for a little bit longer than that, but I wanted to talk about my personal experiences with the console from when I purchased it, which was a little bit past launch time. And honestly, for me, there are no regrets. Yes, the Nintendo Switch 2 came out with maybe not as much hype as the original Switch did, but when you are coming out with one of the best games of all time in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's going to be hard to match that hype. Now, the Switch did have some other great titles throughout its first year, like Odyssey, and just Breath of the Wild and Odyssey alone would be great. But they also came out with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and many other titles throughout its first year that the Switch 2 was never going to be able to live up to. I don't care what anybody says, it was just not going to happen. But still, overall, they did something very impressive and very important to me personally. They released the Switch 2 with one of my favorite franchises, and that happened to be Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now, this game, came out a little bit later. It was not a release day title, but this is a very important title, and I'll tell you why. Because Donkey Kong has been sort of second, I guess, if you will, to Mario ever since, I'll say, the Super Nintendo and beyond. Now, initially, back in the day, I remember playing, Donkey Kong back in the arcades, and even on the Game & Watch consoles, way back in the day. And Mario was not nearly as popular as Donkey Kong. And I really thought that Donkey Kong was going to be the Nintendo franchise. But no, Mario eventually gained in popularity more and more, especially with the release of all the games on the Nintendo and Super Nintendo consoles. But, at the time, Donkey Kong was still going strong. It released some great, it had some great releases on the SNES that a lot of people enjoyed. But overall, you could see a shift. The shift from a Donkey Kong franchise to a Mario franchise that Nintendo preferred. And that kind of, I did not take that too well. I mean, I was always a Donkey Kong guy. And I was really happy that after all of these years, we finally got the recognition for one of my favorite mascots. And the game did not disappoint. It is one of the best platformers on the Nintendo Switch 2, or any console for that matter. And a lot of people complained about that the game is too long, too, drawn out. To me, the game was not long enough. I had a great time with it. Yes, I did not enjoy the digging levels or mechanic as much, but I don't like that for any game. So, needless to say, I really had a great time with Donkey Kong. It is one of my favorite platformers. Yes, I beat the game, and I really had a great time with it. My console came out with Super Mario Kart World, and I will say that while the reception was kind of cool, people, I guess, were over the Mario Kart franchise as a whole. I personally had a great time with it. Yes, the game was a bit overpriced, or quite overpriced, I should say, but still, it was still a quality Mario Kart game. I had a lot of fun with it. I beat the game, and I did some online competition too, although I did not fare that well. Still, for people that enjoy online racing, online competition, I'm sure they got a lot more kick out of the new Mario Kart than I did. Mario Kart World Tour, that's what it's called. But yeah, I still had a great time with it. Loved my time. And overall, I consider it a very good release on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I'm going to go through some of the games that I have in my collection right now. Of course, Donkey Kong Bonanza being one. Mario Kart World Tour is a digital game only, so that, doesn't count. Let's talk about another game that I imported from Asia. This is Fantasy Life. And the reason why I got this is because, it's not a game key card. Now, I've kind of mentioned this before that I'm not into game key cards. I don't necessarily, I'm not going 100%, oh, I'll never touch a game key card, never play it ever. But game key cards are going to be situational. If I can get something for cheap, if it's, a game that I really enjoy, I won't mind adding it to my collection. But for now, I'm really focusing on full games. So Fantasy Life was one such thing. I had to import it from Japan. Really happy to have done so. But sadly, I have not played it yet. But yeah, Fantasy Life, glad to have it in my collection. Another game that I got and beat recently was, I'm sure you guys are well aware of this right now, Pokemon Legends ZA. Now, Pokemon is a really, really interesting franchise for me and for a lot of people. It's very controversial. This game was no exception. People complained about the graphics, the lack of voice acting, the buildings looking bland, maybe the combat system not being the traditional type, all sorts of things. But I played through this game, beat it, and obviously if I played through the game, beat it, I had a great time with it, because otherwise you would not play through a game like this, because it takes a while to complete. Maybe not as long as some of the other big time RPGs, but still, it takes a while. Pokemon Legends ZA is awesome. I love the concept of Pokemon, collecting them, building them up, evolving them, and battling other Pokemon. I think the battle system is really good. I like the environment. I like the setting of Paris. It's called Luminous City, but it is Paris, per se. I like the story, even though Pokemon stories are never, that spectacular. I think it got the job done. Overall, I had a great time with Pokemon Legends ZA, and I think it's one of the best games to play on the Nintendo Switch 2. I didn't run into any issues as far as slowdown or things of that such, so overall, great performing, and a worthy game to have played to play and add to your collection, especially if you're looking for a little different style battle system. I think it's a great title. Up next, let's talk about another game that I need to play, and hopefully I will before it's too late. But yeah, I got this on Black Friday. It was on sale. Demon Ex Machina Titanic Scion. I have only played the original Demon Ex Machina, and that's the demo only. I have not played this title. Want to do it, though, eventually. And I think I will play it probably early in 2026. Definitely looking forward to Demon Ex Machina. I've seen the trailers for it. Really looks impressive. I like mech games. Not all the time, but sometimes I enjoy them. So, yeah, I think I'll have a good time with this one as well. Let's talk about another title that I have not played yet, but I'm glad to have. Another Black Friday pickup. That is Hades 2. Hades 2, as you know, got nominated for the Game of the Year. And I try to play, almost all Game of the Year nominees. Wasn't the case this year because, of course, I didn't play Hades 2 and a few others. But I try to play them. And I am going to get to Hades 2 eventually. I as a matter of fact, I haven't played the original Hades either. Played it for a little bit, did not finish it, so I should say that. I mean, I've played it, not beaten it. But yeah, I'm going to go through this one. I'm going to play Hades 2 first and then maybe go back to it. Go back to the original Hades, that is. But looking forward to Hades 2. Let's talk about some other stuff as I'm dropping things behind the camera. Let's talk about a strange game, I guess, if you will. This is my first ever experience with Kirby Air Riders. And to me, this is probably one of the weakest titles that I played on the Nintendo Switch 2. Maybe I just haven't sort of grasped the concept of how to play Kirby Air Riders because it's very strange. It is an auto racer, I guess. And I don't know. It probably doesn't work for me. Maybe I need to give it a lot more time. But yeah, it's just a strange game. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not like Mario Kart. It's not like any of the other titles, any of the other racing titles from Nintendo. It's just its own thing. And I never played it on the GameCube, so I don't know how it compares to the GameCube version. But yeah, Air Riders so far is probably my least favorite game on the Nintendo Switch 2. Which brings us to Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Another game that I started playing, and I'm really, really enjoying my time with it. People like to criticize things just to criticize. I don't quite get it. You know, now I haven't beaten the game completely. Maybe the game gets a lot worse later on, but this is a very, very strong Metroid Prime game. It's a fabulous title. I love it, and I can't wait to finish it, get the credits to roll. Some very challenging bosses, of course. Not very challenging, but challenging to where, you know, you get a good solid challenge, and just overall have a great time. I think it's a great title. Well worth the wait, in my opinion, and cannot wait to finish it. So, the Nintendo Switch 2 has all these games. That's my entire collection so far. The Nintendo Switch 2, a very healthy one, at least in my opinion. A lot of curated, solid titles. But I also am really enjoying, as you can see here, the GameCube app, which allows me to play GameCube games, something that I was just never exposed to. So I'm really happy that the Nintendo Switch 2 got, you know, this service added to their, you know, yeah, you have to pay for it, but it's worth it to me. I would like to see more and more games come out, and I'm sure they will, but I definitely am enjoying the GameCube app. I played Super Mario Strikers, I think that's what it's called, the soccer game, whatever the title is called, on the GameCube app, and it was fabulous. I enjoyed it a lot more than the soccer game, the Mario soccer game on the Switch. It is really, really well done. Played a little bit of Soul Calibur. Is it 2, 3? I don't know. I can go back and look, but I'm not going to bother. That is a great experience. Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Now, here's a funny thing. I had been playing and beating Legend of Zelda games from 2017 on, all the way up to 2024. But unfortunately, in 2025, I did not beat a Zelda game. Maybe I can go back and beat Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker in about, 10, 15 days? Whatever, till the New Year's. Yeah, I don't know what today's date is, sorry. But yeah, it's not that much, you know, time left. I don't think I'll be able to do it, but oh well. Sometimes when streaks end, you start a new one. So I'm looking forward to playing The Wind Waker, hopefully early in 2026 as well. So overall, do I have regrets, any type of regrets from buying the Nintendo Switch 2? The answer is no. Even if I say the, you know, which I'm not saying, but even if if I were to say that the lineup of games was not as strong, which will, like I said, will never be as strong as the original Switch, I still think that there are a lot of great games out there, especially if you don't mind playing them digitally or owning the keycard versions. There's a lot of stuff to play, of course. And I think overall it's just a great console. There's going to be a lot more stuff to come. And I'm not even talking about all the upgrades that you get of, you know, a Switch 1 Pro, if you will, just because the processor or whatever else upscales the gameplay performance for most, if not all, games. So all in all, a great console for me, and I'm looking forward to spending a lot more time in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.